Hello, boys and girls, Beatles and Stones fans, and welcome to Cooking with Charlie. Just kidding. Welcome to my channel, The Philistine Artist. To begin with, I'd like to congratulate little Zachy Lee Hill Hassel Wilson on his crayon-colored report card that his mother suspiciously found on the front step today. The report card, reporting, as most report cards do report things, that little Zachy Lee, he did pretty good this semester. He got all A's. But it's a little strange that the public school system usually uses the post to deliver mail, and it's also not even the end of a semester. It's a little suspicious, Zachy. A little suspicious. Anyway, good job, bud. So today's video, as you can already see, is going a little fast. It's sped up 4 times the original speed because the original video of me drawing was over an hour and a half. So, yeah, I didn't think anyone would want to watch me draw for that long or talk. So, sped it up, and this is what you got. I got a lot of good feedback after my first 2 videos. Some people liked the long versions where I rambled on like a podcast, and some people like the short and sweet one. So I'll also release this video even faster, maybe times it by 8 or 20, something like that. So I plan to release each video twice in the future, the short version and the long one. Hopefully the short versions also have a drum track like my first one did. But just to give you guys a warning, it's pretty hard to create those. I don't have my own studio, so I'm dependent on friends. I have to rely on them to have the time to record me, to set up the mics, set up the kit. We have to get levels and then record it and then edit the tracks. So I don't foresee being able to do a ton of drum tracks. I might have one more somewhere on my computer, or maybe a few actually. I'm not sure, but if I can find those, either this video might have it underneath, or probably the fast video will have one. I'll look for those, but don't get super used to them and hoping that they all have those drum tracks. Anyways, thanks for all the feedback and for everyone who did tell me what they thought of the 2 videos. I really appreciated it. Thanks to everyone who subscribed and liked the videos, and I hope that will continue. I also wanted to bring more shape to the videos, so the long ones, I'm hoping to have an intro, and then I want to give you 2 quick music facts, and then I'll talk about whatever main topic I have picked out, and then I'd like to give a song suggestion at some point in the video. So I hope that's the format going on from here. So to get into it, my 3 musical facts for you. The first one I have is it concerns Brian Wilson, the front man of the Beach Boys. Very talented man. I love the Beach Boys. I love the Beatles too. I love the Beatles a little bit more, but I love the Beach Boys, and I always kind of think of them as the American Beatles. And I'm always reminded of back in the 60s when they kind of had their race with the Beatles when they were both on the verge of finding new sounds, and they were both testing new technologies and the limits of music. The Beatles and the Beach Boys did some pretty cool production techniques and recorded some weird instruments. So I kind of think about them, and they're very different, obviously, but I kind of think of them in the same thought. I think of that Sgt. Pepper versus Pet Sound race, you know? But yeah, Brian Wilson, the front man of the Beach Boys, he lost most of his hearing in his right ear in his youth. Accounts of this vary, but Brian Wilson himself has said that he lost the hearing because his abusive father hit him when he was a child, and that contributed to him becoming deaf in that right ear. Maybe not as intense as Beethoven, who towards the end of his career couldn't hear at all, but definitely amazing. Props to you, Brian, for recording all those amazing songs and only having hearing in one good ear. My second fact for you concerns the so very humble singer, frontman of the Smiths, Morrissey, who also had obviously his own solo career. I think this is interesting because Morrissey often speaks about hero worship and fame, and he kind of liked that old Hollywood movie scene and music, and he just has a very grandiose personality, and he has some songs bashing the music industry and having idols and stuff. And this fact is that Morrissey, when in his youth, he was the head of the New York Dolls, which is an American punk band. He was the head of their fan club. I just thought that's really kind of contrasting to some of his messages, how he speaks about fanatics and things, and then he happened to really be passionate about this band back in the day. So I think that's cool. My final and third musical fact for you comes in honor of the news that Rage Against the Machine is going back on tour. So Tom Morello, the guitar player for Rage, obviously they're a very political band, and interestingly, Tom Morello got his bachelor's degree in political science back in the day. And contrastly to that, interestingly, he also worked as a male exotic dancer after getting this degree and before Rage made it big. So yeah, there's your 3 musical facts for the day. I think they're all interesting in their own light. So what's going on here? I'm drawing a frog. Why a frog? Well, I thought of this frog would be the perfect thing to draw to introduce the topic. Oh, look at that. I do not like that eye. The eye that I was just shading on the right there. Not a super fan of it, but actually, here's a story for you on a positive note. Well, I think every time we make a mistake, it's a chance to grow and learn. So even though that I'm not happy with that eye, I left it in obviously, and I'm making a video of it now. So just goes to show you that even our mistakes can teach us things. I kind of wanted to, I draw with a pen, so you can't really go back. You just kind of have to make mistakes work, and you just have to incorporate them. And yeah, I just stuck with the eye. It also kind of proves my name. I chose the Philistine Artist for the channel name and my name. Excuse me. I had a bratwurst and it's not agreeing with me. But yeah, so I chose the name not because I don't like music or culture or literature, but I love all those things very much. But a Philistine is either someone who doesn't like those things or who is not educated in them. And I chose the name because on this channel you're never going to see me creating art or drawing in that classical sense of, well, I suppose of drawing as you're supposed to, where people use those stick figures for perspective and they make their shapes before drawing the actual picture so you can measure out things. And then they layer until stuff looks like what it's actually supposed to be. Yeah, I never learned how to do that, so I guess this is an example. This is how I draw, is just going at it, starting with a pen and just hoping it goes well from there. So yeah, that eye's a little skewed, but it's a life lesson. Just go with it. Try to accept it and go from here. But back to my story. Back when I was in college, sorry, speak too fast and slur words sometimes. When I was in college, I was originally going to try to become an elementary school teacher. And one of my favorite classes oddly enough, because I don't like math, was this class where we had to go to elementary schools and work with the kids and teach them math techniques. The professor was really good. That's why I liked it. And one of the things that has always stuck with me, and I've always tried to remember, the professor once said, if you're drawing a picture and there's a kid around, or if you're drawing it for them to show it, and you're not happy with it, don't say my picture is bad, or don't bash it or critique it too harshly, because that kid, that child who's watching you draw, obviously he's like less dexterous, he's less capable of drawing than you, and I don't know if, did I just say, I don't know if that's a word. Oh well, you know, he's the he or she, if they are watching you, they're not going to be able to complete a drawing as well as you even. So if you critique your own drawing, it's their nature. The child's gonna obviously think they're even worse than you, and it's really gonna hurt their feelings because they're gonna be thinking, "Oh wow, what an amazing drawing," and then you're gonna put it down. So yeah, don't do that. If always compliment. Well, maybe don't compliment yourself. That's a little egotistical, but always be positive of your art, and then they'll take note and watch you and do the same. It's a fun little fact that came out of this skewed frog eye. But yeah, so why am I drawing a frog? Well, this frog happens to be the Suriname horned frog. Or if he's proper, if he's wearing his top hat and monocle, his scientific name, his Latin name, is Ceratrophus cornuta. I hope I said that correctly. If not, sorry. The frog can take it up with me. But yeah, this horned frog, they're from the Amazon basin. They're usually found from Colombia to Brazil. And I thought it was the perfect animal to draw to speak about my topic today. My one of my biggest dreams, my number one bucket list item. Sorry, I'm stumbling along and stuttering a lot today. Please forgive that. Also, as an aside, used to have a speech impediment as a child. Had to take speech classes for a while. Anyways, that's totally off subject. But yeah, my biggest dream is to hike and camp a portion of the Amazon River and to see the Amazon forest and all its creatures. I just think I've always been in love with rainforests and animals, and particularly amphibians and reptiles, and a ton of them live in the Amazon, and it's just impressive to me because it's about the furthest you can get, in my mind, in my imagination, from Michigan, and that's where I live. I think it's a really alien world there. It's always humid, always raining, always 60 plus degrees or hotter. Just tons of flora and fauna that we just don't have up here in the good old North Michigan. So yeah, I just really want to see it. And this Suriname frog, this horned frog, or one of his nicknames is Pac-Man frog, obviously because that big old mouth. They live in the Amazon, and I just thought it'd be a cool thing to draw while I introduce that dream. I remember I made once in elementary school out of paper. I made a rainforest canopy for one of my projects, and I spoke about all the different layers of the canopy and what flowers lived and what trees and plants lived where due to the different amounts of sunlight and moisture they could receive, because the bigger trees block the light. Yeah, I just really vividly remember making that, and that was about kindergarten. I've always loved animals and forests. But yeah, this frog, the Suriname horned frog, it's pretty massive. Pretty good good old rotund amphibian. They can grow to be about 8 inches in length. It's pretty massive, and they can eat. Sheesh, I think I read they eat snakes and frogs and birds and all kinds of crazy stuff. We usually just think of frogs as eating insects. But yeah, they're pretty aggressive. They're voracious predators, and they're very territorial. So they attack each other. They attack other animals. They'll even attack humans. But they're nocturnal, which means they prey. They get their prey at night. They attack things. They eat things at night. So how they do it is in my drawing, hopefully you can see the lines and the spots and the splotches I'm putting on. That's because they're camouflaged in real life. They kind of blend in. Even those horns above his eyes, scientists believe, are to make them look more like leaves. So, yeah, they hide in the leaves, the leaf litter on the rainforest floor at night, and then they ambush things and eat them. Big old nasty frogs. I mean, not nasty to me, I love them. The females are bigger than the males, which is interesting, but I think you hear about that in nature sometimes, other things. They have that huge mouth. They're known for, as I was saying, some people call them Pac-Man frogs. What else? Oh, I thought that was super interesting. This is super interesting that they're so aggressive, even when the tadpoles hatch, they fight each other and start attacking. Even when they're that little, they're already showing traits of being territorial. That's just wild to me. Can you imagine? Well, humans aren't being born that way, but, well, some twins. If you and your twin were born and started immediately kung fu fighting, it's kind of the life of these frogs. Weird. My final fact for you on these frogs is that in captivity, they've been known to survive up to 10 to 15 years. That's pretty long for a frog. I will note that right now they're not high on the endangered list at all. They're not a worry. Scientists aren't thinking they'll go extinct or anything. But I would like to note that their biggest challenges they face in survival, the biggest threat that they face, one could say, is people taking them from the wild for the pet trade, and also the fact that the Amazon's getting cut down, burned down, polluted. Loss of habitat is the other big challenge these fellas face in survival, trying to make it to that next generation. Darwinism at work hopefully won't kill them off. So let's be kind to them, yeah? Also just wanted to talk more broadly about the Amazon. Real quick facts. Give you guys an idea of why it attracts me and what makes me want to go there. First off, a quote. This probably won't make the Amazon sound too wonderful, but I've always thought it's clever. Betty Meggers, who's an archaeologist, famous archaeologist back in the day, in 1971, she named the Amazon a counterfeit paradise. So this is because, I was saying it has a lot of flora and fauna. It's very rich. Tons of rain, tons of decaying plants, so there's nutrients in the soil. All this stuff, all these animals, it looks like it's just amazing. It looks like paradise, yeah? It looks like anything can live there. But it's actually really hard for humans to live there. Hard for us to find food, and humans are just not used to that humidity and being wet all the time. So yeah, she called it a counterfeit paradise. Pretty brutal. But positive facts about the Amazon. So the Amazon River is the second largest river in the world, which is pretty cool. I think it's only behind the Nile. Yeah, pretty sure the Nile's the biggest. and it contains about 20% of the world's river water, with 15,000 tributaries flowing into the river. It's incredible to me. But even bigger than that, the actual Amazon rainforest is home to about 10% of all known species in the world. Think about that. That's just crazy. Think how big the world is. And 10% of all those live in the Amazon. Of these species, 180 are reptiles, 262 are amphibians, there's 293 types of mammals living there, and 806 bird species. Sorry, like I said, that bratwurst is kicking my butt. There's also 40,000 different plant species found in the Amazon River Basin. That's incredible and good for medicine, since they make a lot of random cures and things for medicinal purposes from the Amazon, from those plants. So we got to keep it around, guys. Let's prevent fires and deforestation. One fun animal for you is the Amazon river dolphin. They're pinkish and pretty different from their ocean cousins. They're pretty rare too, I think, to see in the river, so that just makes them more interesting. There's 150 different species of monkeys. That's wild in the Amazon. You know, running around, climbing their trees, hooting. But yeah, what I'm interested in, there's 1,500 species of just amphibians alone, and most of those are frogs and toads. So I thought, that's why I'm drawing this Suriname frog in honor of that. I thought about drawing that typical red-eyed tree frog, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna go for something different. So I'm drawing this guy. One last interesting fact is there's about, scientists estimate, 240 indigenous tribes in Brazil. That's crazy because there's not many, indigenous people in the world anymore, and then that many different tribes who have their own cultures, their own traditions, live just in Brazil. So we got to protect them too. Anyways, that's the video. I hope you like the art. I hope you like the message. Back to the beginning. How about you guys in the comments write whether you like the Rolling Stones or the Beatles better? I, for one, definitely like the Beatles better, but I love the Stones, and I'd be very interested. Give a reason too, yeah? Tell me which group you like better and why. Please. Yeah, I think that's all I got. I don't remember if there's anything else I want to say. Please subscribe. Please like the video. Tell a friend. No, tell as many friends as you can. Please get me out there. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. And God bless. I mean that both figuratively and literally, because I want to give well wishes to both the religious and the secular communities. Thanks. So, yeah, God bless, and thanks for watching. And write those comments. Bye.
Bye.